All right. With that, we're going to move on to the discussion section. This question, let's see, not this question. This discussion section is brought to you by a user. We've, for the past two podcasts, been able to just sort of answer people's questions and then have one of the questions just be like the discussion section because we wanted to talk about it more. So we've got another example of that. This one's from VTid. He asked us, is this verbatim what we have here?
I think this
The
is copy and paste it, but you
Okay, cool.
don't have to go into the
Oh
rest.
no, I wanna say it. I
Okay.
just wanted to make I wanted to see if it was just our interpretation or not. So he asks, "What are your thoughts on how important play space size is for VR? And do you think this is a major factor in putting people off getting into VR in the first place? Personally, I have this is him talking still. Personally, I have always had a relatively small play space, but over the years, I have found I really don't need much at all anyway. The only game I've had to quote retire from is Elven table tennis because I need several meters either side and behind me to compete with the best and to stop injuring myself."
All right, to stop you real quick, I think that's 11 table tennis because Elven table tennis would be an incredible game.
Uh,
You're right, it is 11. I don't know why I said Elven. That
uh,
would be cool though.
I think the general rule of thumb from what I've seen as far as what you're asking about room scale, if a game lets you use the joysticks, no, you don't really need room scale. If it doesn't, you do need space. And I think he's totally right. This is putting people off because a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have the space. I don't have the space." Well, they don't know a game like Pavlov where you can do just about anything. You literally only need to be able to turn around and reach your hands out. That's all you need to be able to do. That's a small what for most people. That's less than a 6 foot circle for
Yeah.
most people. But there are games out there like Super Hot and like Job Simulator that don't allow you to move around with the joystick, and you're going to need some physical space to move around your room. So I think they need to get better as developers at remembering that and programming in some options for it somehow. I don't know how. I'm not a developer, but games like Superhot, a lot of people have been put off because they really wanted to play it, and immediately they're running around their room and punching everything in the room and hurting themselves, and they can't enjoy it.
Right.
That's one more mark why the Quest is the future because you can take it out in your garage anywhere you need to play.
So if
Mhm.
I can just add a counterpoint to that though, you don't need a play space, but if you have a bigger play space, you will definitely enjoy certain games a lot more, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So for things like even like Pavlov, which does offer joystick support, I find that it really helps intuitively that even though you're moving around with the joystick, you're up against the corner and you intuitively take a step forward to lean around the corner to try and
Right.
take a shot. And so having a bigger play space lets you do more of those intuitive movements. So if you do have a bigger play space, you'll get sort of that added immersion from it that you
Mhm.
may not otherwise have. Is it enough to prevent you from getting VR if you don't have a big play space? Absolutely not. VR is incredible regardless of the size of your play space, but
Uh,
it will definitely enhance your experience, in my opinion.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. It's the I right now I have a big play space, but I used to just play at my studio back up in Oregon, and it was not a large play space. It was basically I think it was roughly 4 feet by 5 feet. It was really small. Um, and you know what? If you can stretch both your hands out, I'm doing this in VR for those. Hello, Vijay. If you can, put your hands out, like do your full wingspan, do a 360, um, and if you can do that standing up, crouching, because you don't, not just standing. Like if you do that and like, but there's still something below your hand, you'll probably hit that playing
Yeah, you
Beat
don't
Saber
want to
or
punch
something.
your table.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but so and then maybe 1 foot or two of give after that because whether or not you mean to, you will move. Um, Especially when you're playing a game that has you reacting to stuff, and you know the the animal instincts will kick in before your logic does, and um, you want a little bit of give perhaps to make sure that you don't punch your TV, but it's you can really manage it, and I don't know, wear boxing gloves.
Get a mat to stand on that will keep you closer to the zone.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
that is one of my favorite ideas for helping control that, but honestly, in a lot of games, you can actually sit down now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of games are supporting sitting down. The Wizard game I was playing, I'm pretty certain it support you could at any moment press the A button, which I found a little too easy to I mean, I didn't accidentally press it, but I was like, "I'm surprised they have such, like, like, you just press A and it instantly recenters your HUD." I don't know if I was, like, happy about that or not, but, yeah, a lot of games support just, like, you don't even need a room space, a room scale anymore. You don't even need a 4 by 4 foot, you just need a chair and, I guess, room to move your arms.
Yes.
But yeah, we're coming a long way.
Note to all VR creators out there, this is the one more just unsung benefit of PSVR. No matter what game you're playing, what control you have, a dual shock and aim moves, you hold the start button down and it immediately recalibrates you to the center of whatever game you're playing.
Yes.
I miss that in every game I play on PC. I swear, it drives me crazy all the time. Put a little button on controllers going forward, please, that you just hold and it re-centers you all the time. It would make such a difference. Because even for us here in the
Yes.
podcast, we have a hard time getting in our chairs, and then if we move, something's wrong. We have to like get up. It's just one of those things. It'd be so nice. Please, please.
Mhm. Anything more to say?
I'd love to hear some from Destiny because you played with a Quest a lot, way more than I have, and you don't have wires. Do you find that that's good or bad with your play space?
Um, well, because you know my exact setup, so with my layout, because I have a wall in between my computer in my actual play
Oh,
space,
yeah.
if I'm wanting to run it with the link, I do find it pretty inconvenient, especially for games where I need to be moving around, since I'm not used to the
Mhm.
wires. But, I mean, as far as, like, just running it without the link, I do have a smaller play space, and I it's not a huge issue. Like I said, mainly it's just when I'm trying to run it through the PC.
Right.
I felt like I got people into trouble quickly when I let them play with the Quest. The fact that there was no wire really made them feel like they could just go do whatever they wanted. That might have been a noob thing, but it's definitely if you have people on a Quest, make them sit down maybe the first time, just because they're gonna run across the room and break something, if not
Oh,
themselves.
yeah, for sure. But and I mean, making sure that, like, you're using the Guardian properly definitely helps, especially now with one of the Quest
Mhm.
updates. Um, I don't know how to describe it, but basically when you're setting up the Guardian,
Oh, yeah,
everything
I saw this.
yeah, like, it's like these little, like dots, like sticks. I don't know, you just have to see a picture of it, but it's basically like an enhanced grid to help show you where objects are so that way you can make sure to mark around it, just like as a safety precaution. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that definitely helps. But yeah, if you're new to it and trying to describe that's pretty hard to, you know, new people trying to
Right,
set it up for
right.
the first time.
Yeah, it's basically using, because the way the Oculus systems work is um and there's a lot of tech that kind of works this way, where it's looking for contrast in order to find places in the world, to get, like, you use it in, like, video editing as well, like, if you wanna track an object, you find a point on that object where there's some really clear contact contrast, 'cause it'll typically always look that way. So, it basically is showing you every point it found. Well, probably not every point because that would be a lot, but it's showing you a lot of the points it found in your world of like, there's some really high contrast here. Um, and it'll choose that point, and uh, it, as you move around, it'll see it on the camera and be able to recognize it, and that's what it's showing you. So it's a 3D world of points.
It's really cool. I really like that update. But I mean, like I said, other than that, definitely as far as playing without the cord, I've definitely gotten in trouble a few times as far as the environment getting too close around me.
Yep.
But
Yep.
luckily, underneath, I have quite a bit of space in between like my nose and the headset itself. So I try to like be pretty aware of where I am. But I do want
Mhm.
to do the idea that Jay was talking about because I've heard of people doing that before with the whole mat thing. So that's pretty
Right.
cool.
And if you don't wanna get a mat, people constantly ask me on Discord, "Rip, what's turn signal?" Because every time I play a game on Steam VR, turn signal boots up, and it shows that as the game I'm playing. Um, so, to answer all you, very curious people in the Discord community, Turn Signal, I would highly recommend it if you're going to be playing a game on Steam VR. It is this very low maintenance app. It You just install it and it's like good to go. It's like click and you're done. It will create a little like star thing. It's hard to explain, but it's really non-intrusive. It doesn't like break your immersion to have this little star in your world. So it puts this little star, this gray star thing on the floor, and it does two things. One, it's always in the center of your play space.
Hmm.
So rather than having to like turn on pass through or put your hands out to like try and get your border to show up so you can recenter yourself, I just glance down, see the center, and walk to it, which is so nice. And then you have the added benefit of when you spin, it shows you that you've turned, and so it's basically cord management. So that in order to keep your cord healthier and make it last longer, you never want a cord to have to twist too much, and the more you twist it, the shorter its lifetime will be. So by having this program, you can more often make sure that you're recentering yourself, especially when you're playing a game that has you moving around a lot. Super nice. It's like all benefits, basically no downsides. I would highly recommend it.
Sold. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
get
haven't
it.
heard of that.
I'd heard of it, but I kept thinking it would be like this big arrow would show up that was like turn
Oh
left
no,
or something. I thought it was gonna be
no,
pretty
no.
intrusive, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, no. It's super. Like it's like it's small enough and out of your way enough that you never really notice it. The only time you notice it is once you've moved away enough from your middle spot, and then you're glad it was there because then you can go back to the center. Um, yeah, and it's like a light gray. It's also you can change its opacity. You can change that's its like see-throughness for those who aren't familiar with that word. Um, you can change. It's really customizable. You can also at any point reset it. If you like weren't happy with how it was when you first booted up, you can reset the rotation really easily through the Steam dashboard. It's a really cool program, and it is really useful when you're playing in a really small play space. You can always stay centered, which is really cool.
Dave, this is for you. Okay,
Yes.
go get it.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this podcast up. We're now at roughly an hour and 20-ish. I don't know. It's always hard to say because like I press the record button and then we take a while to get going and then we actually start. So I don't know. It says here 1 hour and 27 minutes, but I think it's around 1 hour and 20 in reality. So thank you all for tuning in. We've got all sorts of links to really cool places. We've got our awesome Discord community. Cannot recommend enough joining. For those of you that are like, I'm already in so many Discord communities. Why would I join this one if it's just a place to talk? We've got Q&A section that you can take part in. We've got um, other stuff. My mind totally blanked.
The occasional giveaway.
The occasional giveaway, memes, because why not?
And lots of fun community interaction.
Yeah, and we're there. We're not that Discord community where like the hosts are there, but they're not really talking in it. No, we're constantly in our chats. We're really proud about that. Would recommend it. It's a really cool place to hang out. So we've got our Discord community. Again, this is all recorded in VR. So check out the YouTube channel to see that all happening. It's a really cool experience. And I think that's it. Podcast done.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Thank you for watching. What I do.
I'm so tired.